to, and Sarah and John and I were on that trip. And I declare to you, it's time for you to dispel the myth that a new believer cannot go quickly and share the good news. They may know nothing more than like the demon-possessed man. He knew what Jesus had done for him, and he knew that Jesus was the Son of God. And he took those words and he went and he reached 10 cities. So if I were just using this as an example, we went our first day to Maria Rosa, or it was actually the second day we got to meet her. And Maria Rosa said, you know, I really believe Eliana and Camilla are the first people that I need to reach. So she took us and we went then to Eliana and Camilla. And because Maria brought us and because Maria was willing to share, then they trusted in Christ. And at that was the next day, but that day that Eliana and Camilla trusted in Christ, 5 minutes later they were on the road to tell Rosa and Janet. And they got there and they told exactly what Jesus had done for them. And Rosa and Janet trusted in Christ. And then Rosa and Janet invited people that just came by. They were drop-in company. And so out of that group comes Francisco and also Erica and Jimena, who doesn't get to hear the gospel then, but she comes back later and hears it again from Eliana and Camilla. So here's new believers 5 minutes into their trusting in Christ, being able to go. And this is a method, this 1 minute testimony will be a method for you to train your people on who are new believers. And even if you don't train them, right away take them. And they can say what they know. And then train them afterwards how to do this 1 minute testimony. So what we're going to look for is a 1 minute testimony that tells us something about our life from the past. So we're going to look for adjectives that describe our feelings, our emotions, our existence before Christ. And really they're a symptom of what our root problem is, right? Our root problem is sin. And what are some of the symptoms, the things that you struggled with before Christ? So pick some adjectives. Why don't y'all give me some and I'll write them down.
Messed up.
Messed up.
Messed up.
Fearful. That was me too, fearful.
Victim.
I'm sorry?
Victim.
Victim.
Addiction.
Addiction. Yeah, can't spell when I'm up here.
Hopeless.
Hopeless.
Control freak. Depression. Perverse. Restless.
Did I hear perverse?
Yeah.
Restless, you said?
Lonely. Abandoned.
Purposeless.
Oh, yes. Okay, we'll stop there because we've got a long list here. But I think you probably got to see yourself in some of these words. And so we're going to look for, this is our area of sharing the gospel in the midst of our testimony. And this is going to be after Christ. So this is the before and after story. So let's look for some adjectives that will explain the opposite, what Christ has changed in our life to bring us to the point of healing through his good word, his word of truth, the gospel, and our life and our relationship with him. So,
Restored.
messed up, so you're restored, yeah. What about fearful? Bold. That's what we want to be today, Lord.
Faith-filled. Free.
Free. He who is in Christ is free indeed, right? What about hopeless?
Hopeful.
Hopeful. What if we're in control?
Peace.
Peace.
Putting God in control.
And Christ in control.
Sinners.
Depression.
Joy.
Joy. You could also say peace. Perversion.
Straight. Straight with it.
The Lord straightens us.
Purity.
Yeah.
Purity. What about loneliness?
Belonging.
Belonging. What was the other one? Fellowship. Abandoned.
Accepted.
Adopted.
Ooh, that's good.
Great word. And purposeless, I think, was this supposed to be. And I put the opposite. So, full purpose, right? Purposeful. Grateful. Grateful. So now let's think about, we're going to pray through our own life. This is a kind of a picture of what you could be thinking. But ask the Lord to give you some adjectives in your own life that you'll be able to describe to other people as. Maybe it's not going to be the same word every time. Maybe it's going to be 2 words, and you're going to share, trade off, asking the Spirit, Lord, what part of my testimony do you want me to really highlight with this person? And will he tell you? Oh, absolutely. Every time he's going to give you the right connection with the person that you're speaking with. So you figure out maybe three words you think that would describe you before you knew Christ. And then look for the opposite and what God has done in your life to build you, to train you, to cleanse you, to help you. And in between, you've got the good news. You don't want to leave that out, because this is what happened to you. You were changed through the good news. And you're going to share very simply, even in 10 words, Jesus died for me and rose from the dead. There's the whole gospel right there. And you want to communicate that, how you trusted in Christ, and then how your life has changed afterwards. So we're going to have a quick demonstration, and it's going to come from our friend Ben here. We're going to use 3 chairs because we're going to ask you to use chairs as well. And it will be an easy reminder of before Christ, trusting Christ, after Christ. And we're trying to do it in a minute, and that's so that even in line at Subway, at Luby's, we're going to be able to say exactly what God has done for us. So hit it, Ben.
Could someone time me for this? I'm into my time here.
All time.
Okay. And okay. And you can start when I sit down. How's that?
All right.
All right.
You got it?
Go. I would describe my life before I knew Jesus as I was religious, but I was fearful. My parents were believers. My dad was actually a pastor. But I grew up thinking that I had it made because of how my family was. One day, this guy came to our church, and he was speaking from the Bible. And he said, you know what? It doesn't matter that you're in this building. What matters is if Jesus lives in your heart. And that night, I knelt down on my bed, big eagle bedspread cover, and I asked Jesus to take my sins away. I believed him. I believed he rose for me from the dead, and I trusted him with my life. That was 40 years ago, and since then, he's given me a peace that my sins are forgiven. He gives me power to live every day, and my future is secure. Has anything like that ever happened to you?
53 seconds.
Yeah, all right.
Wow.
Listen,
So you notice that Ben added a question at the end. There's your hook. You have to have a question in order to engage the person you're speaking with. And you may not have an opportunity if they're checking you out at the check stand and you don't get to hear everything that they want to say to you. At least you'll have a point of contact. And you may be able to go back to that person. And I do go back to a checker at one particular store, the 99-cent store. So we engage when I'm checking out. So we want you to take your practical moments right now to work on your 3-minute testimony. You're just going to engage with someone across from you or next to you, and you're going to practice together. And please time each other like Ben asked for, because that really helps you to hone it down. You may have more time. You can always expand, but it's very hard to contract. We have to make it as concise as we can so we can reach everybody in just a moment. So 2 people at the table, get together, time each other, and if you want to go ahead and put it on Facebook, you can put your 1-minute testimony already completed, and then you can go back and revise it and get better. But here's your first opportunity.